Hi, and welcome to another edition of Ideas at Work and Beyond. My name is Al Robinson. I'm going to be your host for today. Marty's on vacation. I think he's out of the country. So there'll be no 10-minute monologue before we get into discussion. We're going to go right into it. It's going to be a two-part show today. Part one, we're going to be talking about City Center Danbury and Main Street. And for the second part of the show, we're going to be showing some video footage from the recent Democratic caucus that happened down at City Hall. And you'll get to see the nominations of Lori Kabak and Gary Goncalves. I'm going to get his last name. I'm going to say everything perfectly. One of these things I'm going to get it right. It's tough. It's tough. As well as Eileen Coladarcy is the person who's running for city clerk, and I personally hope she wins. But no politics right now. We're going to be talking about City Center Danbury, and right now I have the person who is in charge of City Center Danbury, Andrea Gartner. How are you doing? Let's talk a little bit about, before we talk about City Center Danbury and Main Street, let's get some people more familiar about who you are. So just give me a little background about who you are, how did you come to the area, the whole background.
Okay, sure. Well, I actually grew up in the Danbury area. I'm a 1982 graduate of Bethel High School.
Okay.
And when I lived here and grew up downtown, in and around downtown, I spent, for example, I remember the Caravat School of Music and took my accordion lessons there. Mm-hmm. And it was a ritual for my mother and I to go to Howland's department store to go school shopping and get my hair cut and get a little something to eat afterwards. When I got a little older, it was Village Silver and Jimmy's Army and Navy. Mm-hmm. So I have very, very fond memories of downtown. But not so fond that I wanted to stay. I mean, my first inclination out of high school was to leave and explore the big wide world. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go to university in Washington, D.C. and travel extensively and ended up coming back to the area. So I do have roots in the area and would love to see downtown come back.
It's funny how you left the area and just sucked you right back in.
Well, in a way. I mean, I like to say I was a stay-at-home mom, but I wasn't idle. I got involved in a lot of community projects. One that I'm most proud of is the Richfield Playhouse in Richfield. And I also got involved during that time with the Playhouse, with a consortium of Eastern Regional Theaters, and really learned how a lot of old theaters throughout the New England region are tied to their downtowns, and how arts and culture can impact an economy downtown. And one thing I also think I learned with my experience at the Richfield Playhouse is that even in a community you don't think needs economic development, the arts can have an impact.
Absolutely.
In a positive way.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the arts. I'm an avid photographer, and I remember the library place used to do a lot of artwork.
Oh yeah, there was Gallery 13.
Gallery 13. Mm-hmm. And I used to go there all the time. So I love to see more arts back in the downtown area because I think that's crucial to economic development and revitalizing the downtown district. But why don't you tell us a little bit about, for people who don't know what City Center Danbury is,
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about City Center Danbury.
Well, City Center Danbury is a downtown special services district. That's the designation of an area that begins in and around Franklin Street where the railroad tracks are,
okay,
and continues just down before St. Peter's Church.
Okay. And
then about a block out on each side. It's a little irregular depending where properties fall and actually where the Still River runs. So, but for a downtown area, it's rather large. And what City Center does is the city levies a tax on the property owners within this district, which helps supports my office. But it's not enough. We have grants that we apply for, and then also fundraising that we do. And primarily our fundraising that we do is to provide free entertainment to the public, which is our summer series and Taste of Danbury and other events that we do. We're trying to build up those events because one of the principles that we follow is the Main Street program that's under the National Trust for Historic Preservation. It was a federal program created in the late 80s by the U.S. government in response to the effect that malls had on downtowns, on Main Street, USA. And the program for Main Street under the National Trust for Historic Preservation focuses on design, promotion, organization, and economic restructuring of the Main Street. Yeah. So we focus on that.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up the mall. I moved into this area in the mid and late 1980s. I think it was 1987 when I first attended WestCon, in which I think the mall opened in 1986, if I'm correct.
It was in and around there.
Around that time.
Wasn't quite back in the area at that point, but I remember, I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was
we had
huge.
this wonderful tradition of the Danbury State Fair, and it just couldn't sustain itself, and so the mall was built.
Right, and I think what happened was, well, if I'm correct, in my history of Danbury, is that, at least I recall, once I moved here, you can just see the businesses just leave Main Street immediately.
Yeah. I mean, Village Silver went to the mall.
Right.
That was a place I'd like to go to. And it was, I think if you look at the impact economically downtown, it's not like Danbury was alone. This had happened all over the country. And I attended a national conference this year in March in Chicago for Main Streets. And, as tough as the economy is right now on everyone, I mean, who knows really? It's very uncertain. But I see a potential opportunity for Main Street. And this is what was discussed at the conference. There's a lot of malls that are going to be closing. Business rents are going to get more expensive. And Main Streets, downtown areas provide opportunities for lower rents and possible business incubation and innovation and entrepreneurship. But it means bringing people together collectively to make that happen.
Yeah, it's funny that you talked about malls across the country changing all types of Main Streets. I was originally from Hartford, and I can tell you the West Farms Mall, once that opened up in West Hartford, there used to be a time...
Yeah, that was before the Danbury Mall. That was
way before the Danbury Mall.
Yeah, probably 10 years or so, I think.
At least in Main Street in Hartford used to have G. Fox, and in fact the G. Fox that was there was a mirror of Macy's in New York. And that's why it was so famous there.
Right.
And after the mall opened up and some layoffs happened at Pratt & Whitney, Main Street became a ghost town. It took a very, very, very long time to revitalize.
Yeah, and then Hartford has its challenges. I mean, now they've done a lot, especially with outdoor art. I mean, what they've been able to do in Hartford with outdoor art. But Hartford has its challenges. I mean, in Danbury, we're very fortunate, and maybe I tend to look on the sunnier side of things, but I really see downtown has great bones. We just need to put some meat on it. I mean, the infrastructure's there. You go to other downtowns in Connecticut, and the Main Street, there's no traffic. I mean, we have traffic. I mean, it can be bothersome at times, but at least we have people coming through our downtown. I mean, we need to create things to keep them there and bide their time there. And we don't have a lot of the urban blight problems that other communities are dealing with in Connecticut.
All right, well, let me be a cynic here and just say, hey, I'm the guy who says there's nothing to do downtown. There's nothing going on. I'll never go downtown. There's nothing happening. Tell me why I'm wrong in saying that.
Well, first of all, if you just appreciate some good architecture, it's worth coming downtown. There's some wonderful buildings. At my office, we actually have a map called the Historic Walk that we worked with the Danbury Historical Museum putting together. We updated a publication that they used to have. So, and it's a pretty flat walk. So if you want to take a walk, it's a great place to take a walk. So you can do that downtown. Learn a little of Danbury's history in the meantime. We also have wonderful programs. We have wonderful community programs that run out of downtown. The Danbury Music Center is a community music. They have a symphony and a chorus that they've been operating for 50 years. The Danbury Library has wonderful programs.
Yes.
We also have a very kind of quirky, original rock music scene between Cousin Larry's and Sub Rosa Party playing out of there, City Ale House, and the Heirloom Arts Theater. There is really sort of this, I don't want to call it underground because that kind of sounds I guess it might have negative connotations, but there's original rock music going on. I mean, there's quality artists going between New York and Boston, and if that's your thing, you can find it in Danbury, and there's just a really positive scene going on. City Center programs free concerts all summer long, every Friday and Saturday at 7:30. We've had, just last Saturday, we had a doo-wop group that brought out over 600 people. We've been experiencing some really nice attendance. It's good to see.
Real quick on terms of that music scene down at Cousin Larry's, I go down there a lot, especially on Mondays and Wednesdays. I've been
involved. Monday open mic, I think?
Monday's open mic, and Sub Roses on Wednesdays. And going back, even further back than that, I've always been a part of somewhat part of the music scene. I remember groups back in the early 90s such as Monsterland and Creature Did, and Bunny Brains, and
Those are great names. I don't know any of those groups.
It's just Danbury has a rich history in terms of independent music, and I hope a lot more people will come out to these bands because they are really, really good, and it's just great to see that music is still very much alive in Danbury.
And there was a new music component this year for the Connecticut Film Festival too, to really highlight that. I mean, it's just, again, maybe I don't necessarily always understand the music, but I can appreciate the statement it's making and how it's reflective on the musical culture in Danbury. And it's downtown, despite, there's some obstacles downtown to creating this sort of destination for culture, arts, and entertainment. They're not insurmountable, but despite all that, this scene is happening, and there's wonderful people involved. Jay LaPierre over at the Heirloom, and Tony Ecobelis at Cousin Larry's, and there's some new people taking residence in the City Ale House. They're going to create cutting-edge theater. So there's that, and I kind of like that, and I almost feel like the community's got to catch up to it. It's happening, and it's been happening. It's just a matter of I guess, shedding some light on that.
Now let's talk about a place we haven't talked about a lot here. Is the Palace Theater, and how important it is for the Palace Theater to be now open, and some of the things that are happening there, which the doo-wop group that happened last weekend, over 600 people. That's amazing for that.
No, that was mine on my green, but there was previously there was In Harmony did perform at the Palace, and they sold out.
I heard it was
400 plus seats. I mean, that's just great.
Yeah, it's amazing. How important do you think restoring and getting the Palace Theater back up to 100% speed? And when I mean 100% would mean, like, right now you have like
1,800 seats with a 70-foot fly space and elephants being loaded in the back.
That'd be great. Well,
no, I know what you mean.
Maybe not both floors. I'd like to have the first floor, the entire first floor open. I'd like to take down that partition wall.
I don't know that it's a. I don't know that I don't think you can break it down that way. I think it's a dismantling the partition. It's an all-in-one thing.
Well, at least I'm happy that it's opened again. And people get to go back.
Well, it has life back in it. And it was, you ask how important it is, and I say it's important in a relative way. It's iconic in our community for the Palace Theater to be open. It's great. It's great to have a theater like that. I have memories of going to the Palace Theater. I mean, I've been hearing stories from people who've come into the Palace Theater, and when it wasn't, before it was a triplex for movies. Now, for initially, I mean, ideally there's a grand plan for downtown, and the Palace Theater is a component of that, because there's a lot of other things that are important. The BRT site is very important. Getting market rate housing downtown is important. Continuing to solidify the connection between WestCon and downtown is important. We have to really, I think at City Center, go out into the community and really invite businesses that we want as a community to be downtown, to provide incentives for them to come downtown. So as an overall picture, the Palace plays a part in that. The thing with the Palace is that in an initial ramping up to that wonderful vision of downtown as a dynamic cultural, arts, entertainment, dining, exchange of idea, destination place, the Palace has a large role. In the early stages, it is going to be really important. And it's been happening. It's been happening.
People who say that there's nothing going on downtown, I tell you, I've been to the Palace Theater several occasions, especially for the Connecticut Film Festival, and I had a wonderful experience down there.
Were you there for the Republican nominations?
I was there. I actually got in there.
I
couldn't believe
it. I saw you there.
Yeah, to the snicker of a lot of Republicans, but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, did you at least have some of the popcorn they were serving?
No, I think Pauline Bassel was serving it. She wouldn't give me any, but that's okay. That's another story. But The Connecticut Film Festival, I just want to touch on that real quick. We just finished the second year of the festival, and
well, with the Danbury as the host city.
As the host city, yes.
It's been going on before that.
Right, and as a disclosure, full disclosure, I was a panelist in one of the forums, so I just want people to know that, I'm not, before I start talking about it, I just want you to know where I'm coming from. I was actually on one of the panels, but how did that whole thing work out? Do you think it was a success?
I think it was. I think, it's the second year that we're putting an event on. This year it was a 6-day event. And that takes a lot of logistics. And it worked out really well if you're looking at the picture of something that we're developing into something more than it is. And it was better than it was last year. It's going to be better next year. I mean, we're all on a learning curve with this. But it was really positive. I mean, I love seeing, it was great to see fresh faces downtown. I mean, just feel the creativity. And the people who participated, because the film festival is a lot of it is about filmmakers. It's really geared towards filmmakers, with the public kind of invited to participate in that. And when you get, filmmakers in from all over the country, and some of them are from out of the country, there's just a lot of creativity. And they loved downtown. They loved the fact that the venues were so close. I had one of the filmmakers tell me, we were just back from Fort Lauderdale, and it was so spread out. And this is just so great that it's concentrated, and they really felt welcome. I mean, there was a strong presence of the community there saying, so glad to have you here.
Yeah, it was great. And you're right. I was able to, unlike last year where I didn't attend a lot, this year I went to a lot of different events, and it was very cool that everything was relatively in walking distance.
Right.
And you can see a lot of people walking around and taking in all the events that are happening in the area, and going into a lot of these different buildings which are historic, like the Palace Theater. I went to one thing at the Polish American Club, which has history also, and it was just amazing to go through to see Danbury alive and awake, and people really taking in the whole downtown area. And so I thought it was a success. There are some things I hope they will improve on in the future, and I'm sure they will, because we're still in the beginning stages.
It's still growing. I mean, it was definitely, there was a lot of consideration given to, it's glad to hear that you were participating in more of the events, because that was a lot of consideration was given to that, like what's going to appeal people to participate.
Right.
And proximity is one of those things that, the easy access to get to all the venues, and the availability of the programming.
Yeah, I mean, one of the small critiques I have is that there are so many things I wanted to do. It was unfortunate that some of the events were overlapping each other, so I couldn't, like one thing was happening at 1 o'clock, there's something else happening at 1:15, so I couldn't catch both at the same time. Yeah. But overall, it was a good experience, and one of these days I'll get my video report on the whole festival up online. It was just so much I recorded that it's going to take me a little while to get everything done.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot to take in, and with the extra, music, social, and digital media that was housed over at the arena, and that went really well too.
Yeah, that was amazing. I picked up some good tips there that I'm actually implementing into my website, so I can always learn something new. And it was great to talk to different people who are in the same field of work.
In the same field, right, peers, exchanging ideas. And
yeah, it was cool. Well, let's talk about this summer. What is happening downtown at the City Center, Danbury, at the Green? What's the big deal for the summer?
Well, there's a couple of big deals. One of them is, of course, our free concerts, which are great, and we're just encouraging the public to come out. I've really been talking to people about the idea that, Danbury is the regional city. And, as a region, as a community, I like to hear from people what they want their city to deliver. I mean, we really do have opportunity to create a downtown that can serve everyone. And, I know what I would like. I'd like some, find a place where I can have some fruit and granola and yogurt for breakfast in the morning in case I'm, not fortifying myself before I leave home.
Right.
Haven't quite gotten there yet downtown.
Well, I'm still looking for a bacon, egg, and cheese and a cup of coffee.
There you go. Right. Yeah, a little consistency in some of the food choices. But there are wonderful things to visit downtown. I mean, there are some really great ethnic restaurants, and if you're adventuresome, or if you've ever spent time in a foreign country, these things aren't going to put you off.
Right.
And generally, people are very, very friendly. So we do have our concerts 7:30 every Friday and Saturday.
And that's at the Green?
That's on the Green,
Okay.
right. There's convenient parking. Street-side parking is free after 5:30. You know, you could maybe get some parking karma and park on Main Street or on the side street. Downtown Danbury in general is very, very safe.
Yeah.
We're one of the safest parts and one of the safest cities in the country.
Yes, we are.
I've never felt any threat whatsoever, and I've walked around downtown at all sorts of hours.
Right.
And, never had a problem. We also have the farmers market, which is going on at Kennedy Park.
Okay.
Which is on Main Street in Elm and Kennedy.
Now, when is that happening?
That's every Friday from 11 to 4.
All right.
And this is the third summer where we've located it there. We've got fabulous shellfish. This woman comes up from Stratford, and I mean, $3 a bushel. Last time I was there, I ran into someone who comes up from Bedford to get these clams. There's some farmers. And what's really exciting is that we're working with a foundation out of Westport called Wholesome Wave, and they're providing a $1-for-$1 match for people in the SNAP program, the food stamp program, and WIC, and also senior food coupons. And that's good because that does service a lot of the downtown residents.
Absolutely.
And it's bringing people to the farmers market. I love the farmers market because it's just the whole strata of Danbury there.
Yeah.
And I can really appreciate that.
I just saw a movie called Food, Inc.
Oh, yeah. I
And,
didn't see that one. I saw Away We Go instead.
Yeah. After I saw that movie, I was like, you know what? I'm going to the farmer's market. No way.
No more agribusiness.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't want Monsanto in my bloodstream.
No, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my fruit in my refrigerator. I'm like, well, I wonder why it's still good after 3 or 4 weeks. Now I know why. Yeah, I'm going to the farmer's market. I'm picking up my stuff. I'll be there tomorrow.
It's good. The closer you are to your food,
yes,
the better it is for you, like knowing where it comes from.
Absolutely. Now, the big thing happening down this summer is the big Taste of Danbury.
Yeah,
What's going on with that?
Well, we've been working, me and my office staff, which is a very slim staff, but we both have been trying to work, this is primarily Pat Hembrook and I, on having to create a downtown event that becomes kind of a destination. And we've been tweaking it the last couple of years, and I think we've been doing a good job. You know, the first year that I programmed the Taste of Danbury, Eddie Money was there, and it was great. It was a fabulous evening. I'm looking back at that very fondly. It was a great success, and it told me that people will come downtown.
Yeah.
Last year we ran into a little bit of a problem with Tropical Storm Hannah.
Yeah.
But last year we also changed our programming to bring the headline talent in, not just on Saturday night, which had been done in the past, but also on Sunday for a matinee show, like at 2 o'clock. Thank goodness we did that because we didn't have Saturday at all, and at 2 o'clock last year on Sunday we had Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
So we had great attendance. It was a beautiful day. I know it was an election year, so that might have had something to do with it, but the Danbury News-Times had a parade that terminated down Taste of Danbury.
Yeah.
We easily had 10,000 people come through that day. It just
That's great.
It was fabulous. So this year we're hoping, I feel like a new benchmark's been set for Sunday, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed about the weather. And we have Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes coming for both those days.
Okay, great.
And that's really good festival music. We also have some local groups playing, and it's 12 to 10 on Saturday, September 12th, and then 12 to 7 on Sunday. Food, we're getting a lot of vendors in. We're getting people who are coming to us now, which is really nice.
Good. Now, are the vendors all from the Danbury area? Or are they
They're from the greater Danbury area, yeah.
Okay. And what type
some
of...
people come in with specialty items that just, they're coming in from Bridgeport or something with some specialty items.
And we're talking about a wide range of food.
Yeah, we're talking a wide range of food. We're talking possibly fried string beans and some Thai food, bubble teas, pulled pork, Brazilian food, Latino food, standard Italian, American fare. Yeah, we're getting a nice variety.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of, besides food, there's different stands and stuff. Like, I remember one time I went there was a Tribune newspaper had a stand there. There's some political stuff.
Yeah, we offer organizations in the community, not-for-profits especially, a discounted rate, like to be able to set up a table for them. I mean, we charge them like $75 for the 2 days. We provide them with a table and 2 chairs and the opportunity to just get their word out in the public. And I think that works really well because a lot of the groups, they get creative. Escape the Arts might do some face painting or have a jumpy jump, or the Danbury Land Trust always has like an interesting exhibit.
Right.
So we do that, and then we also are available for for-profit vendors. That rate's a little more expensive. And then we'll also have crafters. And this year we're looking to bring in amusements for the kids.
All right, cool. Now, if people want to find more information on the Taste of Danbury or anything that's happening with City Center Danbury, how can they get in touch with you? Or
the best way is probably the website, which is citycenterdanbury.com.
Okay.
We try to keep it as updated as possible. You can also, there's a click on there to get on our email, and we've been blasting out emails every week talking about concerts and what we're doing. We do have 2 special events coming up. We're going to do a third Thursday family night, August 20th. We're calling it the end of the summer Kids Bash. Although I almost feel like summer hasn't even started,
No,
so
it's been such a horrible summer.
It's just been one of those summers, Everyone's going to remember the summer of '09 as being wet and humid.
Yeah.
But we're doing a movie on the green. We're going to start activities at 6:30, and then we're going to screen Kung Fu Panda.
Really?
Woo!
Yeah. I'm going to bring my kid then. Is this going to be free also?
This is free, and what we've done, like in the years past, they've had, City Center's had Thursday Family Night. And last year we just found that despite our enormous efforts of trying to kick it up and make it happen, it just got to be a little much. I don't have much of a staff, and to do concerts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So instead we're looking to do a year-round family program, and we're calling it Third Thursday, and we're trying to work so that every third Thursday of the month there would be something for families to do downtown. Last month we had an event over at the Heirloom Arts Theater. It was Kids versus Grown-Up Battle of the Bands with the Paul Green School of Rock Music.
Cool.
So this August, it's going to be we're going to be doing face painting and magic and arts and crafts on the green prior to the movie, and then show a movie. And I'm working on next month in September to do an after-school special movie like at the Palace.
Oh, it's perfect.
We give everyone little pencil boxes like they used to.
Nice. I'm reminiscing. So yeah.
New traditions. We're trying to establish new traditions.
So again, people, I'm telling you, there's stuff to do in downtown Danbury. Don't sit around and say that there's nothing to do downtown. There's plenty of things happening. This lady just gave you a whole rundown of great things happening in the area. And again, if you have any questions about things happening in Danbury, I encourage you strongly to come down to City Center Danbury, which is on the corner of Main Street and West.
Yep. I call it the fishbowl. It's big windows. You can't miss it.
No, you can't miss that at all. In fact, if you want to, I think you guys will be more than happy to have volunteers to come down and help out with you as well, right?
Yep. For Taste of Danbury, we'll need volunteers. We'll, need people to clean up and set up but also distribute information. And you stop by my office. I mean, we're just, we'll talk to you about downtown, till your ears fall off. We're really working hard and really believe in downtown.
Yeah. And besides your website, what's your phone number?
203-792-1711.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks
I do
for having
appreciate
me. I
it.
appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, and
can I plug one other thing?
Plug away.
We end our summer series on Saturday, August 29th, and we're doing it with a local band, J&B Band, who's doing a Woodstock revival.
Really?
And what we're going to do is, it's going to be rain or shine, because Woodstock, sometimes it rains at Woodstock.
Yes, it does.
So for the 40th anniversary, it's rain or shine, and then we're going to have fireworks afterwards.
Okay, cool.
On August 29th, and that's a free event. So dress your hippie best and come to the green.
What time is that going to be?
7:30. All the concerts are at 7:30.
All of them at 7:30.
Yeah.
All right. So look, we'll plug this site. We'll plug City Center Danbury on the Ideas that Work Beyond website. I'll plug it on my website, Hat City Blog, and
anything you can do. It's great.
Anything we can do to help out the cause, because I do believe in downtown Danbury. I think it's a gorgeous area, and whatever I can do to help promote.
That's great. And there's a lot of people in the community that feel that way, and it's. It can happen.
Yeah. Well, look, Andrea Gardner. Thank you, Andrea. Gee, I'll get that right. You and Derek Goncalves' name.
There we go. Oh my goodness.
Thank you very much for coming in, and I hope to see you around here a lot more. I'm sure I'll see you downtown.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Al.
And we're going to take a quick break right now, a little public service announcement, and then after that, we're going to show some video footage from the Democratic caucus that happened down at City Hall recently, and we'll show you some of the Democrats who just got nominated for their municipal elections. It's time for the silly season, so hold tight. It's going to be kind of crazy this year. So I'll be right back, and that's it. See you soon.
What will it take to warn you about the danger of radon gas? It's a threat in 1 out of every 15 homes. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. So, many lung cancer victims never knew about this risk. A simple home test might have warned them. Don't ignore it. Protect your family and test your home today. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Homes with high radon levels can be fixed.
We envy their style. We worship their beauty. And now we know their pretty little secrets.
I can make you look taller or shorter, fatter or thinner. I can even make you look younger.
Don't miss AMC's stylish new show, Hollywood Fashion Machine. A who's who of Hollywood glamour.
They carved the image.
Join us for an exclusive look at the style makers behind the stars on AMC's Hollywood Fashion Machine, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To miss it just wouldn't be fashionable.
Hello, I'm Veronica Stevenson, Junior Services Librarian at the Danbury Library. Introducing your child to books and to the joys of reading opens the door to a world of learning. We have a large collection of books and non-print materials that you and your child will enjoy reading together. With your free Danbury Library card, you can take home books, videos, and lots more to enrich your child's life. Please visit the Danbury Library and give your child the best gift you can give, the gift of lifelong learning.
Their numbers are growing, more and more. More than a year ago, more than a decade ago. More people now living in this state than nearly any state in the Union. 1 out of every 8 people in America. 1 out of every 10 families in America. 1 out of every 6 children in America. 33 million Americans struggling just to remain standing. 33 million Americans teetering on the brink of hunger, sickness, hardship, uncertainty. 33 million Americans in these United States descending into poverty. And as their futures fall, so does our nation's.
Big cities, small towns, wherever you live, wherever you go, the same kinds of problems, the same way to get some real help. The Boys Town National Hotline. Someone who cares and knows what to do. Wherever you are, whatever your trouble. If you're a kid or a parent, call anytime, toll free, 1-800-448-3000. There's help at the end of the line.
Well, we're back. This is Ideas at Work and Beyond. My name is Al Robinson. I am a blogger for Hat City Blog, and I also blog for the Danbury News-Times. And I say that because this is the campaign season. You'll be hearing a lot more of my writings and my video work. And to kick off the campaign season, I attended a couple of caucuses, the Democrats caucus as well as the Republicans caucus that was held down at the Palace Theater. I think, if I am correct, my man John Newmiller will be showing the Republicans caucus on his show Danbury Live this Saturday. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be happening this Saturday. And tonight, I want to show you some video highlights of the Democratic caucus that was held down at City Hall. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, or I can't really recall, but it's a few days ago. In the video, you're going to see Lori Kay Back, who is the town clerk. Eileen Coladarcy is the candidate running for city clerk, as well as Gary Goncalves, who is the Democratic candidate for mayor. So without any further ado, here is the video footage from the caucus. Enjoy.
Next, I would like to call on Tom Sadi for purposes of a nomination for town clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure to stand here tonight before my fellow Democrats and I think a few Republicans. You're welcome as well. We are the big party with the Big Ten. To nominate our town clerk, Lori Kabak, for a third term. We all know that Lori doesn't brag about her success or the success of the office, but she really is a great town clerk and a great lady. The town clerk's office, for those of you who don't know, is basically responsible for all our records almost from cradle to grave. Birth certificates, marriage licenses, business registration, land records, and the like. But before becoming town clerk, Lori worked in every aspect of the office under one of our great town clerks, probably our greatest town clerk, Mike Tweezer-Seary. So she learned every aspect of that office and now applies that to ensure that the office has good customer service for every citizen of Danbury. Let's remember, though, when Lori first ran, many people said she couldn't win. Then when she ran a second time, many people said she can't get reelected. That was a fluke. But I can tell you that she won by such a large margin the last time. I think the only thing to show that up is by winning by a larger margin this time. And I know you will do that.
No pressure.
But why? Why do I believe that? It's simple. She is one clerk that gets the job done for everyone. Unlike many others in politics, she excels in her job because she wants to provide customer service. That is done without looking for praise or adoration. Whether in the office or on the campaign trail, I think we all know that Lori will give 110% throughout this election and then after November. I know that Lori will work hard for the entire ticket, from our mayoral candidate right on down, and this is no disparaging remark, right through Board of Ed and constables, all the way to the end of the ballot. And remember, folks, that ballot is a long ballot. Go all the way down when you're voting and pulling for that Democratic ticket. She will work to restore and continue to restore good government in the town clerk's office and with the rest of us throughout this city hall and this city. So it is with great pride that I place the nomination in the name of Lori Kabak for a third term to be our town clerk. Thank you.
Chair would like to recognize Zach Rapp for purposes of a second. Whatever you wish to do.
Second.
The definition of brevity. Are there any other nominations for town clerk? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Nominations be closed, Mr. Chairman.
There's been a motion to close nominations. All those in favor? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. All those in favor of nominating Lori Kabak for a third term as our town clerk? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Lori. Intended to give the briefest speech tonight, but Zach just screwed that up.
I just want to say thank you for putting your trust in me as I embark on my third term as town clerk. I pledge to work harder than ever and welcome the help of all of you. As always, if I can be of help to you regarding whatever needs you may need in the town clerk's office, please feel free to call me at any time. Thank you again, and good luck to all the candidates.
And what Tom said is absolutely true. As you guys, many of you know, I'm an attorney, and I spend a lot of time in the Norwalk Town Clerk's office. The Norwalk Town Clerk is a Democrat, a long-time Democrat, and a long-time town clerk, and he has nothing but good things to say about Lori. So it says a lot when you get the compliments of your peers. So thank you, Lori, and good luck. And for the rest of the candidates, watch Lori. If you work that hard, you'll win too. Next, I would like to recognize Ellen Cook for purposes of a nomination for City Clerk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor tonight to nominate Eileen Caladarchi for the office of City Clerk, in a career that has spanned 3 decades of service to the City of Danbury. Eileen has served in in public policy and press relationship of Connecticut General Assembly as Senator Jim Maloney's administrative assistant. She has worked for Western Connecticut State University in areas of research, public relations, and special events. She is also a Justice of the Peace of the State of Connecticut. Eileen is a native of Danbury and a graduate from Western Connecticut State College. She is a part of the fabric of our fair city. To show her dedication to the city, Eileen has served on the Common Council for 9 years, served for 2 years as legislative leader. She served on the AIDS Task Force, spent 3 years involved with the Church Youth Services, and currently represents the 2nd Ward on the Democratic Town Committee. Just to say a few of her accomplishments. Eileen is hardworking, diligent, and loyal, and has a solid business background. I am once pleased, proud, and honored to nominate Eileen Caladarchi for the office of City Clerk. She is clearly the right choice for the position. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair would like to recognize Bernie Gallo for purposes of a second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow committee members, candidates, and fellow Democrats, Eileen brings a great deal of experience to the table as a prior councilwoman with 9 years of service to our community. Eileen knows and understands city government. Eileen knows and understands the importance of campaigning and making phone calls. Eileen is a volunteer for many organizations. To name a couple, Eileen is treasurer of the Richter Art Association of the Arts, as well as the deputy treasurer of the Democratic Town Committee. It is with great pleasure I second the nomination of Eileen Caladarchi for city clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. Are there any other nominations for city clerk? Are there any other nominations for city clerk? Are there any other nominations for city clerk? Seeing none?
Chairman, I move to motion to be
closed. There's a motion made to close nominations. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor of closing nominations for city clerk?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. All those in favor of nominating Eileen Caladarchi as the Democratic candidate for city clerk?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Eileen.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellen and Bernie, for those kind words. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I also want to thank my family. I always leave them out. So my husband is here, Emil, my son Chris, my mom Jean, my mother-in-law Marie, my sister Kathy from Ohio, my son Richard, and my daughter-in-law Jenna said they can't be here because they're living in Brooklyn now. I also want to thank you all for being here and for the support of the Democratic Party on this very important evening. I appreciate this chance to run for city clerk again. I have come close before, and I know that this is the year of the Democrats. Danbury is a very important part of my life, and I promise I will work hard during this campaign to become our next city clerk. As city clerk, I promise you that I will be fiscally responsible by ensuring timely filings, by following all schedules and knowing when all paperwork is due. I promise you that I will be available to the public when they need to access records, and more importantly, I will be available to the Common Council, our legislative body. I look forward to serving the people of Danbury as city clerk and working with the Common Council to make our Danbury government truly accessible. My service on the Common Council and working with many state and local agencies has prepared me for this position, and I will work hard both on the campaign trail and after my election to bring the government to the people where it belongs. I accept this nomination tonight, and I am ready to run a strong and spirited campaign. I look forward to working with everyone in this room and the Democrats of Danbury. We must work together to elect our full team. We have a great team, and on November 3rd, we will bring the Democrats back to City Hall.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Eileen. You'd have to look very far and hard and long to find a better Danburian and a better Democrat than Eileen. Thank you very much. Before we move on to the highlight of our evening, we will do 7th Ward Common, motion for 7th Ward Common Council.
Correct.
Bruce?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to place in nomination for the Common Council from the 7th Ward, Phil Sabroni and Jocelyn Cotino.
Second? Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none. All those in favor of nominating the candidates as read for the 7th Ward Common Council signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. Motion carries. And last but not least, we are about to get to our...
Oh, we haven't...
Oh, yes. I have our 7th Ward Common Council candidates. Please stand up. And because I'm 100% certain that when Gary gets done tonight, I will no longer be able to captivate your attention, a couple of announcements and a couple of recognitions. One, we will all be going to the Marin Hotel Vivo restaurant after for a celebration of our nominees and our ticket this evening. Please join us. That's number one. Number two, I want to recognize a few people in the room. I can't recognize everybody in the room that's ever done anything for the Democratic Party because we're recognizing all of you. But first, our former mayor, Gene Eriquez. And now doing it the right way, Congressman Jim Maloney. And our Registrar of Voters, Marge Gallo. And since I'm 100% certain I missed somebody who I probably should have recognized, I will apologize now. Last but not least, before we move on with the evening, all those people in the room tonight who are here, family of candidates, please rise. Candidates, say thank you to them because that's how you get to do this. Family. It's not just our candidates who make the sacrifice, it's their families that do it too, and they help and they do a lot of things that the candidates would do that they can't because they're out at an event. So thank you to the family and friends tonight. Thank you for coming out and thank you for supporting them as they run. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the chair would like to recognize Bruce Lees for purposes of a nomination for mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate somebody for the office of mayor of the city of Danbury, a person who grew up and loves his city and its people, a person with the highest integrity, the character, who has earned the respect of both the community and his place of employment over the tenure of both, a person who has consistently given of himself to this and the surrounding community through the various nonprofit work as well as the youth coaching experience. A person who has the skills not only to win this election, but to do it an exceptional job as mayor of the city of Danbury. And a person who is willing to put a successful corporate career aside to restore the leadership and the direction this community needs. Therefore, you can tell I'm rushing for it. You know, I'm rushing.
We're running ahead.
I know, that's all. I got plenty of time. Therefore, it's my distinct honor to nominate as our candidate for the office of mayor for the city of Danbury, Gary M. Concalves.
Good job. Thank you, Bruce. The chair would like to recognize Tina Moranti for purposes of a second. Tina.
I am very proud to be able to second the nomination of Gary Goncalves, a man who is enthusiastic, has great experiences, great insight, and honesty. He will be a great mayor, and he will bring back to Danbury the good government that we should have. Thank you.
I would also like to recognize Eileen Caladarchi for purposes of a second.
I am honored to be here to support Gary M. Goncalves as mayor of Danbury. Gary, a lifelong Danburian like I am, is ready to give his time and his energy to the Danbury community. Gary, with his extensive community ties and volunteer support for our many of our local entities, knows what is important to us and what we need to be the greatest city in Connecticut. Gary, with a clear vision for the future, will lead us to the quality of life within our city we strive for. By creatively stimulating the downtown area, attracting new businesses, and more quality job opportunities for our citizens, Gary will work with us as a Democratic team to support the goals and visions we all believe in and be a mayor for all of the people of Danbury. It is with great honor and pleasure that I second the nomination of Gary M. Goncalves for mayor of the great city of Danbury.
Members of the town committee, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for mayor? Are there any other nominations?
The nominations be closed.
Motion's been made and seconded to close the nominations. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. All those in favor of Gary M. Goncalves as a Democratic candidate for mayor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. Gary M. Goncalves.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Democratic Town Committee, fellow candidates, family and friends, residents of Danbury, good evening. I stand in front of you tonight with both humility and pride. I am humbled by the fact that you have placed your confidence in my ability to run as your endorsed Democratic candidate for mayor, and I am proud to accept your nomination. I will carry our Democratic banner with conviction and integrity straight through to our election victory in November and beyond. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone here for your continued support of my candidacy since we first announced in March of this year. Our campaign has been well planned, executed, and well received by the residents of Danbury. Our volunteers have been energetic and my campaign staff exceptional. But a reminder, we all have miles to go before we sleep. The good news is that with the strong slate of candidates we have this year, the people of Danbury have a chance to change the future for the better. To be more specific, no more consecutive years of tax increases or increased city fees. No more big-ticket bonding purchases with their associated long-term debt extending far into the future. No more decreases in city services. No more treating the city charter as a suggestive document, rather than the constitution of this city as was intended with its creation. No more catering to special interests, such as the tax breaks for residential developers. And no more fear-mongering to advance individual interests. My administration will be characterized by visibility, approachability, and accountability. We will relieve the tax burden on our citizens. We will support our fine schools and the children of Danbury by keeping educators in the classroom. We will restore the quality of life within our city by creatively stimulating the downtown area, attracting new businesses, and more quality job opportunities for our citizens. We will ease traffic congestion by establishing and implementing a bold new traffic improvement plan. And perhaps most importantly, we will reunite our community with all our diverse constituencies, working together for the common good of Danbury. The time for change has come, and I promise the people of Danbury to be a mayor of the people, by the people, and always for the people. So help me God. Before I officially close, let me just say that I'm very comfortable up here staring out at the audience here in the Common Council chambers, and I imagine I'll be more comfortable up here. Thank you, and God bless this great city and this great nation. Thank you.
All right, well, you just saw some footage from the Democratic caucus that was done down at City Hall just recently. That was Gary Goncalves. I got the name right that time. Eileen Coladarcy, who was running for city clerk, as well as Lori Kaybeck, our current town clerk. So that is the Democratic ticket. Like I said before, those are highlights of what happened there. If you want to see the video in its entirety, if you want to see the people who are running for Common Council in the individual wards, as well as the Democrats who are running for Common Council at large, constables, I think also as people in the Zoning Commission and Board of Education. If you want to see all those candidates, you can cruise over to my website, www.hatcityblog.com, and you can see the video of all that. And I think this Saturday, now I could be wrong with this, but if it's not this Saturday, it's going to be coming up very soon. John Newmeller's show, an excellent show, Danbury Live. He's going to be having the Republicans caucus, which was, should I say, somewhat interesting. You get to hear the candidates who are running on the Republican slate. So Danbury Live, Saturdays, 7 p.m., right here on this channel, Channel 23. I hope you enjoyed the show today. We talked a lot about Main Street Danbury, and for people who say there's not a lot of stuff to do on Main Street or downtown Danbury, you're wrong. There's a lot of great things happening downtown. I hope you take the time to go check out the websites, www.citycenterdanbury.com. You can find out a lot of great things that are happening in the downtown area this summer, including the Taste of Danbury, which I highly recommend you go to because there's a lot of great food happening down there. The summer concert series that are happening on the Green. There's things happening over at the Palace Theater. So come on downtown to Danbury. It's really cool. There's a lot of great stuff happening down there. And also another quick plug to Cousin Larry's, great music happening down there in that area. So again, we're going to be winding up the show now. So thanks a lot for watching. Next week we'll have some more people. I think Marty will be back soon. So until next week, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.